Hi friends, welcome back to Amy Bakes. I'm Amy, and today we're going to make a recipe that is going to fill your house with the aroma of fall. We're going to make iced pumpkin cookies. My friend Stormi actually gave me this recipe, and then I looked online and found the original. The original recipe credit is going to go to All Recipes. And so we're going to do their iced pumpkin cookies. And so this is a delicious recipe. Stormi told me that it was absolutely addictive, and she's not wrong. So let's go over the ingredients. For this recipe, we are going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, half a teaspoon of ground cloves, half a teaspoon of salt, 1½ cups of white sugar, half a cup of butter softened, 1 cup of canned pumpkin puree, 1 large egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then for the icing, we'll need 2 cups of confectioner's or powdered sugar, 3 tablespoons of milk, 1 tablespoon of melted butter, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. For our supplies, we're going to need a mixer fitted with a paddle attachment. You're going to need some measuring spoons, measuring cups, a cookie scoop or a tablespoon, a wire rack to cool them, and then a couple of cookie sheets fitted with a parchment paper. The first step is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees, which I have done. And now to make the cookies, we're going to combine the flour, cinnamon, baking powder, baking soda, nutmeg, cloves, and salt in a medium bowl. But I want to show you something. And I want to give some credit here to one of the people that watched one of my previous videos, Backwood Country Boy. His wife had seen that, when I talk about the flour, I talk about how you want to spoon it into your measuring cup and then level it off versus just getting in here and scooping it out and then leveling it like that. And he had a great idea. He showed his wife actually the reason why you want to do that is because it makes a significant difference in the amount of flour you get in your recipe. And he showed her by using a scale, and I'm going to show you the same thing. So that was a great idea. So I really need to give some props to Backwood Country Boy for that great idea. So let me show you the difference. So we're going to spoon this in here, and then we're going to level it off. Then we're going to take it over to the scale, and I'm going to show you in grams how much. Let me grab my knife here real quick. Hang on. The difference. Okay. So there we go. So come on over to the scale, and I'm going to pour that in there. So it's 123 grams. Okay. Now, I'm just going to dump this back in here, and I'm going to scoop it and then measure it, just to show you the difference. So scooping it, and then just level it off. Now come over here. So the other one was what, 123? 143. So just by scooping and leveling, you're getting too much flour in your recipe. So you want to make sure that you spoon it in and level it. Okay, so we are going to spoon and level 2½ cups of flour. We're going to put that in a separate bowl and then set that aside for a minute. So here we go, 2. I'm actually going to a Halloween party tonight, so we're going to make these cookies to take. And then when I get home, my house is still going to smell amazing and just like fall. All right, here we go. 2½ cups of flour. Okay, and now we're going to put in the rest of our dry ingredients. I'm going to do this a little out of order because the cinnamon is going to stick all over my spoon here, and I don't want to put my spoon with the cinnamon all over it into my baking soda and my baking powder. So I'm going to do it a little out of order. So I'm going to go a teaspoon of baking soda. Isn't this can awesome? Instead of the box that it usually comes in, I found these at the store. I thought that was pretty cool. Baking soda and a teaspoon of baking powder. There we go. And now I'm going to do my cinnamon. I'm going to need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. There we go. And now I'm going to switch to my 1/2 teaspoon, and I'm going to do nutmeg, cloves, and salt. So again, I'm going to go ahead and do my salt first. Salt, and do my nutmeg, my ground nutmeg, and cloves. Okay, now I'm just going to mix that in really good, and then I'm going to set that aside. Next step is we're going to cream together our butter and our sugar, and I've already got 1 stick of butter. It's 1/2 cup. That's probably a little too soft. I think I kind of waited a little too long to let that sit out a little too long. I also had a friend ask me the other day, oh, by the way, it's 1 1/2 cups of sugar. Had a friend ask me the other day that I spoon and measure my flour, but how come I don't spoon and then or level off my sugar? And I said, well, I think just because I'm lazy. I think that's basically why. But in all honesty, I think it's because when you shake it off, you pretty much get it pretty level. But if you want to level off your sugar, you are certainly welcome to. So now what we're going to do is cream this together in the bowl until it is fluffy, about 2 to 3 minutes. Now we're going to add pumpkin, 1 cup of pumpkin, our egg, and our vanilla. There we go. And I've got 1 of Daisy's eggs. For those that don't know, we have backyard chickens, and Daisy lays beautiful blue eggs for us. And now vanilla. And if you have watched any of my baking videos for any amount of time, you know that when the recipe calls for a teaspoon of vanilla, I just kind of measure that with my soul. So we're going to say that's about a teaspoon. You'll hardly ever find me measuring vanilla. Now we are going to mix this until it is creamy. Now we're going to mix the flour in, the flour mixture, and then we're going to mix it all together. I'm going to do this in 2 different additions so that we don't overload the bowl, and when I turn the mixer on, it goes in a big plume. So we're going to mix that in a little bit. Okay, now we'll get the 2nd addition of the flour, and then we're going to make sure we scrape down the sides of the bowl. Get it all in there and get it good and mixed in. All right, this is good and mixed in. The flour's incorporated very well. And now we are going to drop the cookie dough. It says by tablespoon, so I'm just using this slightly larger scoop. And we are going to drop these onto the cookie sheet. And then we're going to flatten slightly. So these were a little soft, and when I tried to touch them to flatten them, they got really kind of sticky. Remember I said that my butter was a little too soft. I don't really have time to refrigerate the dough. So we're just going to go ahead. I flattened them like this. I just picked the tray up and kind of pounded them down, and that flattened them a little bit. We're going to pop these in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes, and we're going to rotate the racks halfway through. While the cookies are in the oven, we're going to go ahead and make our icing. So I measured out 2 cups of powdered sugar. So I want to show you a reason why you always want to cover your food in the microwave with a paper towel. Butter explodes. So if you'll wait just a moment, I'm going to clean my microwave and melt another tablespoon of butter. We're going to add a tablespoon of melted butter. Oh, that's greatness. Okay, that was too much fun. Okay, so we have 2 cups of powdered sugar, some butter, as we've seen, and evidently the butter is going to be my my enemy today. We're going to add, I'm not going to add all the milk. I'm going to stir it in and see what we're looking at, and then see if I need to add the rest of it, because I don't want my icing to be too thin. I'm going to add my vanilla. A teaspoonish. There we go. Oh, I could have used my Grand Marnier vanilla. That would have been good. All right. While I was, or should I say, after I cleaned the microwave up, I went ahead and switched the cookie racks around, or the cookie trays around on the racks. So I just, the one that was on the top, I put on the bottom, and the one on the bottom on the top. Now we're gonna mix this in. This is good and thick. It does not take a lot of liquid in powdered sugar to make a really good consistency of an icing. So you can always, if it's a little too thick, you can always go back and thin it down with a little extra. So I didn't put the full 3 tablespoons in there. And I actually don't think I'm going to add the rest of that. I think this is a great consistency. We're just gonna stir it up and get all them lumps out. And we got just a couple more minutes on the cookies, and then we're gonna let those cool, and then we'll ice them when they're cooled. These are perfect. We're gonna pull these out. There we go. That's perfect. They're kind of firm, but they're not hard. So they're soft but firm. Perfect consistency. I'm going to transfer these over to the rack and let them continue cooling. Okay, once your cookies have cooled, you're just going to drizzle your icing over them. And what I've done is I have just set a cookie tray. So any icing that dribbles off will just dribble down. And you're just going to ice these. Get a little glob of icing on there. There we go. Just like that. So as you can see, things are not always perfect in the kitchen. Sometimes things go wrong and we have mistakes. And that's totally okay. As long as you're having a good time, that's what counts. I really hope you guys give these cookies a try. They taste amazing, and you should really smell my house. It is unbelievable. I will put the recipe in the description below, and I hope you give it a try. If you do, leave me a comment. Also, be sure that you like and subscribe and hit that bell notification, and that way you will be notified when I upload new videos. And if you have any questions, as always, leave a comment. I do read every comment, and I am happy to answer any questions you have. If I don't know the answer, I will certainly go find that for you. Thank you so much again for watching, and I hope you enjoy this amazing fall recipe.